The topic of my presentation is raising a child of different ethnicity. It can be very difficult to raise a child, not to mention a child of different ethnicity. I'm going to start off by introducing myself. My name is Makayla Malachi. I'm a high school student at Central High School, and I'm African American. This topic really spoke out to me because my mother is a foster parent, and she has taken care of multiple children with different ethnicities throughout my life. Now, now I'll start with now I'll go to my first main point. Ethnic identity and identity itself is really important to children. So both identity and ethnic identity may prove to be a serious problem when raising a child outside of your race. Judith Mason and Christine Harrison have described identity as an organizing framework which holds the past and present together, providing an anticipated shape to future life. Mahler's theory associated identity formation with the child's emerging awareness that she is separate from, yet completely dependent upon, those who nurture her and to whom she is attached. These descriptions of identity focus on the internal life of the individual and on the individual's intimate relationships. Identity starts with themselves and getting to know and understand themselves. This is hard to do as a child. It could take a major toll on children. Here's a quote from one of my resources. Some research shows that the transracially adopted child may experience behavior problems and psychological distress over confusion regarding ethnic identity the way and they may not learn to cope with racism in a way that preserves their self-esteem. Think about it this way. What if you were white and black and you only were raised by your white side of the family? Well, now you don't know a complete half of yourself. You don't know anything about the eth- uh, black culture or anything about the ethnicity itself because you're being raised by all white people. And children are not bad. Uh, children are not born bad or evil. So racism to them would have psychological and maybe even physical distress, especially if the one who is raising them is a racial foe or enemy to their race. Say if you were a little Indian girl being raised by black people and you find out that the black people and the Indian people don't like each other or are racist towards each other, and now you look at your mom like, oh, she was black, what am I supposed to do? And that could be um, really frustrating and really um, confusing to a little kid. Um, Another quote: "We cannot have an honest discussion about transracial adoption if we aren't willing to discuss prejudice and privilege." A mother of an adopted child said this, and this mother is black, and her child is of another race. To help these children, the parents need to be willing to talk about these things and be comfortable to talk to their children about stuff like racism. It is not easy for a child of another race to to be raised by someone of a race different than theirs, and it's not easy to raise a child of another race. The adoptive parents need to understand how important identity and ethnic identity and racial identity is to their children. Then my second point is about fitting in. It may be hard for these children to fit in with their peers. A woman named Marcia is black and is raised in a white home. Her peers think she is being stuck up and acting white, when in reality she was adopted by white people when she was little. So now she starts off conversations by saying, I was adopted, and now that's part of her identity. Even as a grown woman, she still has problems fitting in with her black peers. And this in society makes it difficult for people to be raised by different ethnicities. A white woman and with a black daughter says, I remember wondering that day if my daughter would feel lost at other times as she grew up. This is a realization made by a mother. She realizes the difficulties her daughter may have in life because she is being raised in a white home. It's, and it's hard, and it's hard as a child to not be able to fit in. It's very crucial to to anyone's childhood to play and get along and um, uh, fit in. with people your age without um, social interaction with peers, children could have extreme low self-esteem and become depressed, which could lead to all types of problems with the child and the family. My third point is judging. People are always going to make judgments and assumptions about families that are different, that have different ethnicities within it, whether it's good or bad or it's just fabricated out of ignorance, since the family is no longer normal. If you accept the fact that people are ignorant about certain things in life, life could still be difficult when raising your child. A white woman was playing in the store with her black child when a worker picked the child up and asked the woman if she could help find the mother because she thought the little girl was lost. The woman handled the situation well. She smiled and said the little girl was her daughter and walked out of the store. What if the worker was a dangerous person or a bad person who decided to just mess with the little girl since she was there and she um what if the worker was a rapist or someone who just wanted to hurt the little girl because she thought that the little girl's mother wasn't there or father wasn't there. This is an example of ignorance, and this is an example of assumptions made by ignorance. Uh, they didn't realize that the mother was white, so the child must be alone, right? No, they were playing in the store, and the mother wasn't directly next to her daughter, but she could see her. And that's where she went up to the worker and confronted her, and that's when um, she gave her the worker gave her the woman her daughter back, and they walked out of the store. Um, Marsha, Marsha said, I remember there was a girl named Ebony, and she could not believe that I had been adopted by white people. Ebony asked questions like, are they nice to you and do they treat you well? Ebony just didn't know. Maybe she had bad experience with white people, or maybe she heard of someone that had bad experiences with white people. Maybe she heard rumors or stereotypes about white people that she um, never known to be false. So it just seems like Ebony just couldn't understand that Marsha was raised in a loving home with loving white people. And that is the conclusion of my TED Talk.